There is a need to endorse a check when someone writes you one so that you can cash it out or deposit it in your own bank account. This will help the bank to verify you as the recipient and will help authorize the transaction you made. Welcome to Money Talk, where we discuss tips on making money. And for this video, we are going to talk about what's on the back of a check and why are these details necessary when making a transaction. But before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and click that notification bell to receive updates and be the first to check out our latest videos. When it comes to endorsing a check, you need to sign your name on the back and add the necessary additional details so it will be processed with ease. Most of the time, it only requires a signature. But there are additional steps that are needed to help you control how your bank will process your payment and shield you from problems. These include endorsing a check. This process is really simple, but you need to remember a few things so that you can be sure that your money is protected and the transaction will be successful. The names should match. This is pretty basic, but very important. It is a must that the payee's name placed in front of the check match the name signed on the back of the check. If it is misspelled or written the wrong way, you should still sign it with the incorrect version, and then sign it again using the correct name. Make sure you sign in the correct area. On the back of most checks, there is a 1.5-inch space where you can write. This area, called the endorsement area, is characterized by lines and the words "Do not write," stamp or sign below this line. Try to keep your whole signature and other details for the bank in that space. What are you supposed to write on the back of your check? Your signature is required in most situations. But depending on what you intend to do with the check, you might also need to include certain other details. A blank endorsement. The simplest way to endorse is to just sign the check without putting any restrictions on it. However, this is also the most dangerous way to do it. To use the method of having a blank endorsement, sign your name in the area that says Endorsement, but only do this if you are going to cash or deposit the check right after you sign it. For example, if you're in a bank lobby or making a mobile deposit at home, a blank endorsement might make sense. Be cautious when depositing at the ATM, mailing the check, and more. Use a different method if you want to mail the check. Deposit it at an ATM or carry it with you for some time. Either don't sign the check until you're ready to deposit it or put a limit on the endorsement. Blank endorsements are dangerous because someone else could steal the check, cash it, or put it in a different account if they stole it. What does a restrictive endorsement mean? It is possible to increase the likelihood that a check will be deposited into a specific bank account by using a restrictive endorsement. It is essential to include your account number with your endorsement, as well as give instructions stating that the money can only be deposited into your account. You can simply write "For deposit only to account blank" and your signature, replacing blank with the number of your account. If the check gets lost or stolen, thieves will have to change the endorsement in order to get your money. If you don't want to write your account number on the check, you can write "For deposit only to account of payee." This way, thieves would have to access to an account in your name. If you give an account number, you might or might not also have to sign it, depending on the situation. What if you're using the mobile deposit endorsement? Follow the instructions on your bank's app if you want to deposit checks with your phone. The bank may want you to write on your signature that you're making a mobile deposit. Sometimes, you don't have to follow those instructions, but if a deposit is important, it's best to do what they say. How do you endorse a check for someone else? You can attempt to sign a check over to another individual, thereby paying them with a check you have. However, that is not the best method of payment. To endorse a check, write "Pay to the order of" and the new payee's name below your signature. However, you should be aware that certain banks do not permit this form of endorsement because it is sometimes used for theft and fraud. You should always check with the check writer's bank, as well as the final bank where the check will be deposited before attempting. You don't always need to endorse checks. There are banks that will let you deposit checks that don't have a signature, account number, or the other necessary information. If you skip the endorsement, your information will be kept private. After a check is paid, the person who wrote it can often see an image of it online, including the area where they wrote their name. Without an endorsement, no one will see your signature or account number except if your bank adds the number during processing. When should you endorse a check? No matter how you sign your name on a check, you should wait before you sign it. The best time to sign is at the bank or while you're making a mobile deposit. If you sign your name on a check and then lose it, it will be easier for someone else to cash it or put it in your account. Who usually signs to endorse the check? In certain instances, it is unclear who should sign the check, but most of the time, the recipient of the check must endorse it. How should you sign a check that is payable to you and to someone else? If this is the case, it all comes down to how the check is written. If "and" is between two names, everyone needs to sign. What if you use checks in your business? Endorsing a little different if you have a business and use checks. The check is made out to the business, not to you as the owner, so you have to sign on behalf of the company. Anyone else who signs these checks must be allowed to handle money for the business. FBO checks. FBO stands for the benefit of, hence the acronym. A check written to one person for the benefit of FBO, another person must be signed by the first person who gets the money. The check might be made out to the person in charge of your retirement account for a rollover transaction that will benefit you. The custodian will sign the check, so generally, you won't have to sign it. Why is it necessary to endorse checks? Checks are payments that are written out to the recipient directly. You are the only individual who has the legal right to withdraw money from the check writer's account. You can cash that check or deposit money that you can later use from your checking account by handing it over to your bank and letting them handle it on your behalf. Endorsing a check gives the bank permission to collect payment on your behalf. After that, the bank has the authority to represent your interests in the check negotiation. Like what was mentioned earlier, you might be able to deposit a check without putting your name on it. This could be an option if the check is small enough. With that, you can deposit it into an account matching the name of the payee. And it's not from an insurance company or other organization that needs an endorsement. Banks and credit unions often accept checks that haven't been signed, assuming that nothing will go wrong. Still, if you need to get paid quickly, it is best to sign and date checks correctly and completely. Even if your bank lets you deposit a check, it could be returned to you in a few weeks. If that happens, the bank will take the money out of your account until everything is sorted out. Now that you understand what endorsing a check means, you should concentrate on finding the most efficient way to deposit checks. You may usually avoid waiting in line at the teller counter by using an ATM or one of the many mobile devices. If you get paid electronically, you might also be able to do away with paper checks entirely. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, click subscribe, and hit the notification bell to receive updates on our latest videos. Also, feel free to leave us a comment. If you want to watch more videos, head on over to our channel to see more from Money Talk. See you!